Eventually in V Rising, you're going to unlock this amazing new thing they've added to the game called the Redistribution Engine. Now, when you're going to have access to this is going to be after you defeat Henry Blackbrew right here. He's level 77 on Brutal, and right here you can see that it is going to unlock the Redistribution Engine after you defeat him. And this thing can seem a little bit intimidating at first, but once you get used to the mechanics of how it works, it's actually a very, very powerful tool to be able to manage your base a lot more effectively. And I'm going to walk you through some of the basics here. That way you're not as intimidated by this mechanic, and show you some cool things that you can utilize this thing for. So under the production area and then the general tab, you'll see over here we've got Redistribution Engine, and we are at 2 out of 8. So the most you're going to be able to do on default settings is placing down 8 of these as a maximum. And then each redistribution engine will give you a connection capacity of 8. So right now in my base, I've got 2 of them placed down. That's why you'll see my connection capacity can go up to 16. So if I go in here and I place another one, it will go from 16 to 24 because it will add the capacity of 8 more connections. We'll place that down, and then I'll show you here. If we go and click on this, now it will say 2 out of 24. So it went from 16 to 24 because I got 8 more available by adding a third engine here to my base. And I've got some wood in my inventory here, so I can show you one of the cool things you're able to do with the redistribution engine. So look at this. I can go up to my advanced sawmill. This is where I'm able to set up some connections. So right now you'll see that I've got it sending to the Devourer first, and then a couple paper presses over in my library. And it's worth noting, you can only connect an output to something that has the capabilities of accepting that as an input. So you're either going to need to send it to a storage, which is somewhere where you could send it, or somewhere that has a recipe that's accepting the output that you are producing into somewhere else as a different recipe. So as you can see with this recipe on the top left, when I put wood into the sawmill, I'm going to have an output of planks and sawdust. So when those planks and sawdust come down here to the bottom right in the output section, I can now use the redistribution engine to send that output section to anywhere else that can accept it as an input. And if we go over here into the library really quick, I can show you on the paper press that the paper press has a recipe up here on the top left that accepts sawdust as an input. So I can use the engine to send the output from the sawmill into the input at the paper press because it has a recipe that calls for that output. So that's why you saw the engine connected to 2 different paper presses. What I'm doing is sending sawdust to both of these paper presses. So then you may be asking yourself, well, why the Devourer in the middle of the room? Like, what is that doing? What's that for? The Devourer is so crucial to this because it's going to allow us to turn things in to an output. So you can see that there's an output section right here. That means I can connect the Devourer to something else where I can send the output into somewhere else that accepts whatever's output here as an input. And I can show you this by turning off the connection right here and showing you what happens when I put in a plank. So we're going to turn that on, and right now the Devourer is going to be salvaging the plank that's up here in the input. And what happens when I do that? I'm outputting wood. So now that I have something in an output section, that means I can use the engine to send it somewhere. So what that's going to do is allow me to loop my wood through these different distribution vessels and kind of send it in a circular motion all the way through automated, because maybe I'm chopping a bunch of wood and all I want to do is turn it into sawdust. I don't care about the planks. I just want to turn all this wood into sawdust, send it over to the library, and try to be producing as many like paper and scrolls and schematics as possible. So that's why I have this connection right here to connect to my sawmill, because what's going to happen is a plank turns into wood, and then the wood from that output connects over here to the sawmill. And now I'm going to be back at square one where I turn the wood into planks and sawdust. The sawdust goes over to the library. The plank is going to be connected to go into the Devourer. It gets turned back into wood and it loops back around. So the whole thing kind of works in a circular motion to turn all of the wood I have into the maximum amount of sawdust as possible, while sending that sawdust automatically over to the library where I'm wanting it without me having to manually move this stuff around constantly. And I can show you how this works by removing this connection here on the Devourer, and then we just go to edit connections, and now you can see that it's going to allow me to connect this somewhere. And what I do is I just drag this over to the Devourer and connect it just like that. So then when I'm in here and I'm under edit connections, now I've got the Devourer down here, and you can move these priorities up or down depending on kind of the order of operations you want them sent in. So now I can return the Devourer back up top, and there we go. So now let me show you how this whole process works, and you can see it kind of come to life. So I'm going to put all of this wood into the advanced sawmill. Now what it's going to do is send that wood over into the output as planks and sawdust. The planks are going to automatically be feeding down here into the Devourer. So you'll see this is at 71, and it's gonna, there it went to 72. That means a plank finished and it got automatically sent over. Now the Devourer is going to be turning these planks back into wood, and then it's connected back to the sawmill. So I'm going to be constantly turning those planks back into wood to produce more sawdust, basically. And then the sawdust is going to be sent over here into my library automatically to the paper presses. And you can see those little blue flashes. That's when the redistribution engine sends something over. So you can see this paper press over here is flashing blue. That means that it is getting something from the redistribution engine, which means all I would have to do is keep that thing stocked up with a bunch of plant fiber. And now when I put that in, we are going to be producing a bunch of paper while automatically keeping this thing stocked up with sawdust from our workshop. And because of that, now we have an output of paper, and anything in an output section, we can now send that somewhere via the redistribution engine. So I can go into connections, add a connection, and then if I want to, I can automatically send this into anywhere that accepts it. Right here on the top right, this is going to be an herb storage, so I can't send it there because herb storage can't accept paper. But then right here is a knowledge storage. Knowledge can accept paper, so because it's able to accept that input, that means I can connect it. So what's going to happen now is we're automatically getting sawdust from our workshop. It's going to be putting that into here, which is going to be keeping the paper production going. And then the paper is going to automatically be feeding over here into the knowledge storage as soon as it's produced. And the reason you don't see that happening right now is because it is not turned on. So I got to come over here, edit connections, and then we're going to have our toggle auto send checked to on. Now anything new that comes over, you'll see it's not going to move from 10. It will stay at 10 because anything old before I turn this on will stay, but anything new will automatically get sent over. So I can clear this out right here by putting it in my inventory. And you'll see over here in our knowledge storage, this will go from 2 to 3 right there. So the paper is being automatically sent over. So it all starts with the wood producing the sawdust. Then because it goes into the output, it sends it over to somewhere that can accept that input, which is going to be the paper press. And then the output of the paper press is going to go into my knowledge storage. So when you're like out farming, I can come back to my base, drop a bunch of wood, and as long as I just keep this stocked with plant fiber, I already know I'm going to end up with a bunch of paper over here in my knowledge storage. And if I'm not worried about having the planks right now, I know it's going to automatically cycle all of my planks by recycling them into more wood to turn into more sawdust. So eventually it'll chew through all those resources and just automatically do it for me. And then if I ever got really low on planks and I was like, hold up, wait a minute, I don't want to be recycling all my planks into more sawdust. I want to actually save some of those planks so that I can build and stuff. No problem. All you got to do is go in and then edit this connection to just send the output of planks not to the Devourer. You would just, either cancel this or move it down. And then we would just edit connections, and we would add a connection over here to the storage to accept the wood. And then now what's going to happen is because of the way that I did the priorities, the sawmill is going to try to send the output to that storage first. And I would just need to move the material storage up here to put it above the Devourer. So now it's going to prioritize sending the planks to the material storage first if it can. If it can't, then it will fill up the Devourer, and then it will send over to start the paper press and all of that. So now if I go over here to my storage, you'll start to see that it is filling up with planks. But look what happened. It is getting sawdust because I now put the connection above, and the sawdust is able to go over into the storage. So a way that you could manage that is by moving the Devourer down to the bottom and then putting the paper presses above the material storage. So now what it's going to do is it's going to prioritize sending the sawdust first. Then when it has the sawdust gone, it's going to look for something it can send to the material storage, which will be the planks. Now we'll be getting only planks in here and no sawdust. So let me clear this for you so you can see. Now we're not getting sawdust. It's going to be going over to the paper presses, but the planks can't go into the paper press. So then it's going to send those over here. So now we've got everything nice and sorted. We're getting our planks into our storage and our sawdust over to our paper press. And everything is fully automated with me able to control how much I want going where. So like if I get a few rows of wood planks here and now I'm like, wait a minute, okay, I got plenty of wood. Let's go ahead and recycle these. Now all I got to do is go edit the connections, move the devourer up, and now it will send those planks into the devourer to get recycled into sawdust. So I hope it doesn't sound too complicated. Once you play around with this for a little bit, it will start to make a lot of sense, and you will be able to really help automate your base and make all this stuff less of a headache, so you're not running around your base, moving resources around constantly. And I can definitely do more of a deep dive guide at some point showing all of the super advanced stuff you can do with the engine. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And then also, if you have any questions, drop it down below in the comment section, or I have a Discord link down below where you can tag me at any point in time if you have a question as well. So hope this helps. Cheers. Peace.